Hello everyone, I am Jasjeet and this video is for you if you have already completed a 3-year Bachelor of Nursing and want to migrate to Australia for various reasons. In today's video, I am going to tell you how you can be all set to work as a registered nurse from the day you arrive in Australia. I will also tell you the process of applying for a permanent residency. More importantly, towards the end of the video, I will give you my recommended pathway on how you can land into your first job as a registered nurse and don't have to waste time in doing any odd jobs. I will also give you a bonus tip on how you can gain some Australian work experience if you don't have 3 years overseas work experience in nursing to apply for a permanent residency. Let's get started. To work in Australia as a registered nurse, your overseas qualification have to be registered by Australian Health Regulatory Body, also called AHPRA and Nursing Board of Australia, called NMBA. There are 3 stages involved in the registration process of your overseas qualification. Stage 1 is self-check and stream allocation. In this, you will perform a self-check on your 3-year nursing degree by going to this website. This is done to ensure that your degree satisfies 4 criteria set by Nursing Board of Australia. That is, your degree is recognized, accredited, quality assured and is at the same level as Australian bachelor's degree. Based on the satisfaction of these criteria, you will be allocated to a stream. If you are from a developed nation like Canada, United Kingdom, USA, it is most likely that you will satisfy all 4 criteria and will be allocated to stream A. But if you are from developing countries like India, China, Sri Lanka, Iran, it is likely that you will satisfy some criteria but not all. So you will be allocated to stream B. But in extreme cases, if you do not fulfill any criteria, you will be assigned to stream C. Only Stream A and B candidates can proceed to the next stage. Stream C candidates will have to upgrade their qualification to the required standards to proceed further. Stage 2 is assessment. The assessment will vary according to your allocated stream. Firstly, you will have to pay assessment fee of 640 Australian dollars to proceed further. If you belong to Stream A, that is, if you are from Canada, US, UK, you will have to complete an online learning course that provides introduction to Australia and its healthcare system. This is called Orientation Part 1. After this step, Group A candidates are eligible to apply for registration. If you belong to Stream B, that is, if you are from India, China, Sri Lanka, Iran, the process is much longer and involves 3 steps. Step 1 is to complete an online learning course. Step 2 is portfolio check, where you will have to provide qualification and identification details by uploading certified copies of your academic transcripts, degree certificates, proof of identity, certificate of nursing registration from the regulatory authority in your home country. Step 3 is outcome-based assessment, abbreviated as OBA, where you have to pass 2 exams. The National Council Licensure Examination, abbreviated as NCLEX-RN, and Objective Structured Clinical Exam, abbreviated as OSCE, which is also called OSCE, where you will be tested for theory and practical components of nursing. But before appearing for the exam, you will have to wait for an email from AHPRA, which will tell you that you are now authorized to take the NCLEX-RN exam, which is delivered through Pearson VUE test centers in your home country and costs about $200. This email will be valid only for 90 days, so you will have to book the test within this time frame. While you are waiting for the authorization email, you can make yourself familiar with the multiple choice questions based NCLEX-RN test by going to this website. This has information about the test centers, practice exams, passing standards, tutorials about exam software in which the test is conducted. After you have passed NCLEX-RN exam and received a pass notification through your AHPRA dashboard, you will become eligible to give the OSCE exam. This is a practical exam to assess your skills of nursing. This test is conducted in Adelaide Health Simulation Centre, which is located within the University of Adelaide in Australia. All the details about this test can be found in OSCE handbook on this website. To proceed with the test booking, you will have to pay exam fee of 4,000 Australian dollar, and then you can select a date and time of the test. The test will take 2 days. You will have to fly to Australia to appear for this test, most likely on a short stay visitor visa. Results of OSCE test will be communicated to candidates within 6 weeks of the date of examination. If you have passed the test, then you become eligible to apply for registration. Stage 3 is registration. Both Group A and B candidates will receive the registration form in the dashboard of their online account they created in the beginning. This form should be printed and filled out on the paper and posted to AHPRA office, which is in Melbourne, Victoria, with other supporting documents, and registration fee of approximately 500 Australian dollars should be paid. The supporting documents that will be required are: number 1, a certified copy of proof of identity, which is passport, visa, birth certificate, driver's license. Number 2 is evidence of academic qualification like transcripts, degree certificates, or simply a letter from your university with your results. Number 3 is a CV should be provided. You must declare that it is true and correct and should be signed and dated. A template is available on this website. Number 4, an evidence that you have passed an academic English language test like IELTS with a minimum overall score of 7 and a minimum score of 7 in each of the 4 areas, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The test can be passed in either 1 sitting or 2 sittings. Number 5, criminal history check. If you have a criminal history, you have to provide a written statement which is signed and dated by you with the details of circumstances. An international criminal history check is required if the applicant has lived overseas for 6 consecutive months. The applicant has to request and pay for this themselves, but through AHPRA approved suppliers, which are Fit to Work or AIS International. Number 6, evidence of health impairment. If you have a health impairment, then you must provide a signed and dated written statement with details of that impairment and how it is managed, with a report from your treating doctor. The nursing board will decide whether your impairment is relevant to your practice of nursing profession. Number 7, registration related documents. Certificate of registration is required from the authority that you were registered with in your home country. Signed and dated written statements about any registration cancellation, suspension, refusal, disqualification should be provided. Standard templates are available for most of these documents on this website. Number 8, accreditation requirement. Your university or education provider should provide evidence that at the time you completed the course of study, the education provider was subject to an external accreditation process. The regulatory authority should provide evidence that the program of study which you completed and led to registration as a registered nurse was accredited at the time of your study. The templates to request these 2 forms are available on this website. Number 9, recency of practice, or how recent is your practice. If you are a recent graduate, that is, registration was awarded not more than 2 years prior to the date of your application, then you are exempted from recency of practice. But if it's more than 2 years and you are already practicing in your home country, then you have to declare that you have completed a minimum of 450 hours of practice within the past 5 years. The registration process takes 4 to 10 weeks after all supporting documents have been provided, but the final registration is subject to providing a local Australian ID to AHPRA office in person. You will be given 3 months to provide this if you live overseas, but do not worry, because the skill assessment process required to obtain a permanent visa can be started without this final step. Now let's look at how you can settle in Australia permanently if you have qualification from overseas. Apply for skills assessment in category called Modified Plus Skills Assessment on this website. The cost is about $340 and application can be made online. A positive skills assessment is the first step towards applying for permanent residency. There are 5 criteria that the assessing body will use to assess your application, and you must meet all 5 to get a positive outcome. These are: number 1, proof of identity, that is your passport and passport size photograph. Number 2 is English language proficiency test like IELTS academic and have similar requirements as AHPRA. Number 3 is education, graduation certificates and basic transcripts from all completed nursing courses, and a transcript that contains a breakdown of the number of hours completed in both the theoretical and practical components of nursing course. Number 4 is work experience, a minimum of 12 months paid Australian work experience within 5 years before making this assessment application, or a minimum of 36 months paid international work experience within 5 years before making this assessment application. Number 5, verification of registration or good standing letter. Verification of registration should be emailed or posted directly to ANMAC from the relevant authority. After your skill assessment outcome is positive, you can apply for a skilled independent visa, subclass 189, to live permanently in Australia on this website. Here is my recommended pathway. So my recommended pathway is to get registration of your degree first to ensure that you can work in Australia as a nurse, and then apply for PR. In some scenarios where people might apply for PR first and arrive in Australia only to find out that it will take 6 or more months to get themselves registered as a nurse. Then they get stuck in odd jobs and may not return to their main profession, which just sucks. Now let me give you a bonus tip. If you don't have 3 years overseas work experience in nursing, it is most likely that your skills assessment will not come as positive and you cannot apply for permanent residency. In such circumstances, if your registration process with AHPRA is complete and is successful, you can apply for jobs in Australia from your home country, and your Australian employer can sponsor you on employer sponsor visa, which lets you work and live in Australia temporarily. And once you finish your 1-year Australian work experience, you can apply for skills assessment and then PR. Hope that you've liked this video. If you did, subscribe to my channel because it keeps me motivated and I will bring more useful stuff for you. Till then, take care.